In case any of you forgot.
You're currently investigating a possible sedentary non-aggressive trollge entity. Your purpose is to evaluate the safety level of this entity for the outside world and further research. 2 days after the incident that took place here, one of our drones meant to investigate the shadowy substances covering the concrete structures observed that the buildings seem to reconstruct themselves. Whatever this substance is could be very valuable to us. So until the science team has deemed it safe, we ask that you don't come in direct contact with it under any circumstances.
All preparation is done. Lester starts checking the communication devices, and to his surprise there seems to be some interference on both ends. His team assures him that there is no hardware malfunction, and so concludes that the entity probably has a magnetic field around it that disrupts their machines. Regardless, the first soldier is sent in with only 5 minutes to investigate. The soldier looks for a way to bring down the elevator. Nothing. Alas, he starts walking. After 2 minutes, the ground team loses visual. After 1 more minute, the soldier notices something.
I hear a low rumble. I can feel it.
You seem to be breaking up. Can you hear me?
Not well. I see something.
What is it?
It's big. Real big. And it's coming towards me.
Your time is up. Get out of there.
Lester is becoming increasingly more disturbed. He starts observing his environment a bit closer. A few more restless minutes pass, and the soldier comes out unscathed.
Tell me, what did you see?
I didn't know where the rumbling came from at first, but when I looked into the distance, I saw something really big moving, like a pair of legs. I presume it was incredibly tall, since he seemed to stretch out way past the ceiling lights, deep into the darkness.
They arrive at the first aid tent and look inside. Lester asks the nurse what happened, and she explains that the soldier she's bandaging touched a shadowy stone.
At least we can conclude that they're not safe to touch.
Lester manages to compose himself and sends in the second soldier, now with the task of opening one of the boxes and maybe even retrieving it. The soldier, like his predecessor, is extremely cautious, yet he cannot escape the feeling that he's being watched. Minutes pass and he decides to open a box, only to reveal nothing. He opens some more until he sees a glowing one.
Lester, do you need me?
Affirmative.
I've inspected a couple boxes. None of them contained anything except for the last one, which was glowing, and contained 3 gold bricks.
Gold bricks.
As I was getting closer to the box, the bright light it emitted reminded me of gold.
I don't know why.
Hold on, I hear nothing.
What's wrong?
But Lester didn't get a response. Briefly after, he heard a scream, a shout, and the connection dropped. Minutes later, the elevator comes back. Then a scream of pain is heard from the first aid tent. Lester now remembers the incidents that took place up until now. The coughing soldier, the burning rain, the malfunctioning hardware and the soldier's arm. And then he realizes what's going on.
We're dead.
What was that?
Sir, I think that we are in.
But before Lester can finish his sentence, the Inquisitor asks him to send in a third soldier with his specific instructions. Lester retaliates and starts explaining the whole area is irradiated and their lifespan decreases the longer they remain here. Derb contemplates for a minute, but he doesn't back down. He explains that Lieutenant Jacob Paff wants to secure a vaccine for his son, Justin Paff.
This is our only chance to do so. Sending in more troops at a later time would only increase the number of casualties.
Lieutenant Jacob Paff is the father of Justin Paff, a teenager who became a trollge entity after an unfortunate set of circumstances. Justin, like most kids his age, wanted to be one of the popular kids. He hated how, for most of his life up until then, everyone had looked down on him. Shame, disappointment, and the severe lack of friends had made him desire popularity to an unhealthy degree. So he took initiative and looked to join a group of friends. They agreed to let him join their cool kids club, but only if he would bring a pack of cigarettes to an older kid named Maluma. One thing led to another, and by the time the end of the school year arrived, he was skipping classes, drinking, partying, and doing drugs harder than anyone in his group. His mother tried to stop him, but unfortunately lacked the strength to do so. And after a most grim evening, what was once known as Justin Paff had become another specimen for the U.A.T. to collect and research. And so, another soldier goes in. The vaccine is secured. Derb calls everyone back to the headquarters. But now, something else starts worrying him. He begins thinking about the previous incident. Why are those two after him? What do they have to gain by killing him? The answer lies in this file room.
The longer we go on without solving this trollge problem, the more people are going to die. I've vowed to fix the problem before it even begins. Since troll faces are the only ones who can become a trollge entity, I plan to gather all the troll faces in the world and euthanize them. They want to bring about the end of the world.
The Inquisitor sits outside his room. He picks up his phone and calls Lester. Lester picks up. Derp asks how he is, and after a series of dodging the subject, Lester claims that, because of the strong radiation emitted from the containment site, the soldier who touched the shadowy stone may only live for another 30 days, and he may only have 1 year.